And go.
Yo, what is up, party people? So, yeah, I don't know if you've been watching them. I guess, like, me and Joey Grieve, we're kind of heading this thing, and we're just putting up content for future people, I guess for people now, too. This one's kind of about, like, if it had a title, it'd be called probably, like, The 5 Promises. And essentially what that means is, so we're in spring semester right now, but between last fall and this spring, over winter break, but like I was praying, I was just like praying in the household, and it's like the Lord had done so much in the fall, and I was like, Jesus, I know you have so much more for us. Like I know like all the growth we saw, like all the recognition we saw, like people just knowing we existed versus people didn't know we exist. Like you did a lot, Lord, but like there's so much. So it's like, what do you want to do in household? What do you have for us this spring? And so kind of just like over 2 days of prayer, he spoke like 5 promises to me, and here's what they are. So the first one was this: you will have a minimum of 8 intents next semester. So really cool. Before we even got into spring semester, I had already talked to 4 people who were going to guaranteed intent. But now we have 10, 11 including Marco, who's getting in, who will get inducted the fall semester because he intented late, and then Josh's fiance Elena is technically 12. So boom, check mark, right? Like the Lord fulfilled that promise. The second one is this: he's going to use apprentices to set the standard for household and community. He is going to build something so magnificent that when people look in, they can't help but be moved closer towards Christ. That our brotherhood wouldn't be a place of complacency or a place to show up when you feel like it, but apprentices would be a place where brothers would reach out to one another in gentleness, patience, and love when they're in the trenches, and in joy and in shouting when they're on the mountaintops. We will become a household that pushes its brothers to new heights with Christ out of sincere love for them, refusing to be satisfied and always hungering for the next thing the Lord wants to offer. And I think the Lord has just really done this. He's really, really fulfilled that. Like, I think like I've just noticed like as a coordinator, because like I have access to like the coordinator group chat and like what like the leaders of household talk about, and it's like I really feel like the Lord through us, for whatever reason He chose us, He used us to start kind of this movement of like people wanting to do joint commitments, like people like not being like so like inwards, like facing inwards with like their households, but like it would actually like pour out into the community, and like household would just be a base from like which you build more community, and you meet more people and you pray with more people, because that's what the church is about. The church is about inclusivity. Number 3, we will become such exact reflections of Joseph that we will be the ones people look to for the example of great husbands and fathers, biological and spiritual. So whether called to marriage or whether called to priesthood. And it's actually really funny how the Lord's fulfilled this. And the fact of like a lot of us have just randomly gone on dates. Not randomly, like we've been intentional about that. Like we've like like we've just got a lot of us have gone on dates this semester, which has kind of been funny, and a couple of us have like gotten in relationships. So it's just funny to see how He works in that way. Number 4, that we would radically build community for the Lord. That we would use our time and money not for personal gain, but give it back to Him in a full gift to call back as many children of His as we can. And again, like I think this is like a very practical way like the Lord has done this is like the joint commitment thing. I think now I could pull up a list to like double check, but whatever. I think we've done joint commitments with like 20 households this semester, which is pretty crazy because most households only do like 1 or 2, maybe 3 a semester, if even that. Some households don't do them, and so just like seeing it's like we've been able to like interact and pray with like so many different types of people and so many different spiritualities, and it's been so beautiful because like it just shows it's like Christ isn't present in all of those, and just getting to experience that and getting that to live in that and like getting to build one another up in that. And just like to push each other and like spur each other towards Christ. And so it's like the Lord has kind of fulfilled those first 4 in some way or other. But the 5th one is what I'm really excited for. I'm really excited to see what the Lord does, because this is a longer term goal. Like the first 4 were really like promises for this semester, and he's really fulfilled them. But the 5th one is this: finally, that within the next 2 years, the members of our household would have influence in Pittsburgh, Robinson, and Steubenville to bring more children home to Abba. So when I got these promises, I was coming off a retreat at Damascus, and like one thing they talked about there was like when it comes to dreaming with the Lord, when it comes to wanting to do things with the Lord, like we should add zeros. It's like we have our own abilities, we have our own ideas, and it's like this seems accomplishable, but it's like to add a 0 onto that. So it's like we know like without the Lord this can't come about. And so for household, like what I prayed into like was like instead of being a household of 15 men, let's be a household of 150 people involved, helping lead praise and worship, prayer teams, hosting events for campus, etc. This kind of just comes in like, obviously we're not going to induct 150 people and have like 150 brothers, but like our guys, like we like our brotherhood would be like the source, a source of a love and like a place to like to be built up, to be re-energized, to be like recentered, refocused, to remember why we're here and what we're doing, and like what the Lord's speaking, and then to go out and to build. And so it's like maybe like myself, like I would like I'm gonna be an RA next year, and like so I would have like I'm gonna like have different access to community there, and like the Lord would use that to build something else and to like touch other people and to reach other people, and like kind of that idea of like we'd have a small base but that would radiate out and that would affect campus, and like in these next 2 years, like that would affect Pittsburgh, that would affect Robinson, that would affect Steubenville, because what we're doing here should affect out there. It shouldn't stay in household. Peace, people. 5 promises. Bye.